Good morning, good morning, good morning. I clicked a button and I popped up live on the screen. It was supposed to give me a good 20 seconds there to hang out and be actually ready, but what's up everybody? How you doing? Happy Monday. How was everybody's weekend? What's going on? We got Mama Bear in the house. Good morning, Mama Bear. How's it going? How's the move? How's the new house? Everybody settling in? How's hubby's retirement? Is he just pacing around? Pacing? Doesn't know what to do with himself? Good morning, Mr. Brofit. Guys, if you weren't here on Friday to hear the Brofit episode, please go watch it back. Ask Chels. She'll tell you it was a banger of a banger. Super amazing story. Uh, Brofit traveling and taking his nephew to Norway. Huge, deep family connection moments, tears maybe had. I was getting choked up like crazy. Good morning, David. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, seriously, go watch that episode back. I think between me and Jason, I think we had it in our top three episodes. Um, it was great. He is learning to exhale. It's been good. Then call him to that's funny. Did you really do that, Chels? 'Cause you didn't wanna watch it back? Bang Bang Friday. Yeah, Friday was dope. Tears or laughter or both. I think it was mostly getting me and Chels getting choked up. It was just some super adorable moments, uh, between Brofit and his nephew, and just, a lot of family history. A lot of, yeah, a lot of connections to his like went back when Brofit was younger and his uncle taking him to Norway. And then now fast forwarding 15 years, maybe something like that. Um, he Brofit being able to take his nephew. Super cool. Like really dope story. Um, yeah. Anyways, how was everybody's weekend? Good morning. Don't know where I think Jason is prepping for school, but we might see him on here. Oh, and also the other banger on Friday's episode was Brofit's amazing story was almost upstaged by Jason's amazing hair. So, um, speaking of not Jason, I'm just kidding. Mom Bear, that is a John Mellencamp lyric between laugh and tear. Gotcha. But yeah, Jason's hair was something else that day. There's
Hey,
my not Jason. What's up, buddy?
how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm on the back end
How
of
was your weekend, dude?
organizing some stuff. Good weekend was
Nice.
good.
Okay.
Weekend was good. Yeah. How about you? You got a
Well,
new family member.
yeah, I did. I hinted on Friday that I was gonna have a good weekend and sent Chels into a little spiral because her curiosity took over and she just had to know what was gonna
Morning,
happen.
Chels.
And then I just left her in the dark all weekend long.
Hmm.
Sorry, Chels. Yeah, we had one of our friends had a birthday party at a minor league baseball game, so we got to experience that. We all had like this little picnic area in the outfield, and the kids just got to like run around. And it was right next to where the players were warming up for
Right.
pitching, so they would toss balls to the kids. So the kids got a kick out of that. That was
So
Saturday,
cool.
and then Sunday I took the kids to like a reptile convention. So it was just it wasn't like as necessarily as good as I would have wanted it to be because it was very much just a sales convention, like people trying to sell their stuff. So it was like local either companies or like mom and pop operations where they just brought all of their reptiles in like these containers and were just chatting people up trying to sell. Um, and I was really hoping more along the lines of like hands-on, like getting to hold and talk and stuff like that. So some people were, if you talk to them enough or whatever, and the kids just ask, "Can I hold it?" They would. Um, so they got to hold a decent amount of snakes and a couple of lizards, and then we ended up talking to this one family quite a bit. Their little daughter actually sold us. Like she was at someone else's booth, and my son just goes, "Can I hold that snake?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she comes right around and she's like, it wasn't even hers, it was just her neighbor's booth, like they live
Hmm.
next door to each other. Um, and she just like started talking to us about what her family raises, which was bearded dragons. And so I was asking her some questions, and then she looks over her dad. She's like, "Dad, this family's interested." And then she's like, "Come on over." And she like brought us over to her parents. It was super cute. Like this little 7-year-old like made the sale. Um,
That is
but yeah.
so awesome. Wait, hold on. I want to understand. Reptile Convention was uh, an event that you can go to. How did you get from Dom to wanting and planning to go to a reptile convention?
How did I get there?
Yeah, like based on interest, or is this something you've been to in the
Well, so
past?
you guys remember like we went to Sedona, and we were at Sedona to have Sedona fun, but
Hmm.
there was this guy who was raising awareness for some reptiles out in the desert, and so he was just like in downtown Sedona, just like hanging out with a bunch of reptiles, and my kids had such a blast, like chilling with him and holding like the reptiles and stuff, that like every day after that, Bentley was like, "Can we go back to find that guy?" And so every day we would kind of like drive by and he wouldn't be there. And so Bentley was bummed. And then the next trip we took as a family was to Huntington Beach. And at Huntington Beach, there was a lady there who had reptiles in the lobby, like same thing, raising awareness for a local reptile shelter or whatever. And Bentley like just had a blast, like hanging out at her table. Like didn't want to go to the beach, didn't want to go in the pool. He just wanted to find that lady. Um, so we put that out into the friend group in the world. We're like, hey, we're looking to like find this stuff locally too. It doesn't have to be like we go to Hawaii next week and then we're like looking for reptile people. It's like, why can't we just find people right next to our house? And sure enough, there was a convention like 15 minutes away where there were, I want to say there was maybe 20 to 30 booths of like, either people who raise and breed reptiles or people who like have like they grow the live plants that you put in the terrariums. Um, so it was just really cool.
Good morning, boys.
Morning,
Morning.
buddy. How you
I
doing?
didn't, I didn't, I didn't know if you needed the add to stage button there.
No, I was letting the conversation develop naturally and organically before jumping in
You're
and interrupting.
like, take a breath, Dom. Take a breath.
Wait, I just want to say, I love this story that
Yeah,
brought you guys to this reptile convention. That's a childhood memory. We went to Sedona, we saw this. The reason that
yeah.
we fell in love with these kind of things, that we couldn't find it. And, even from your side of like, he was missing them, so I needed to find something. And from his side, he's like, man, I wanted to see this thing. And, dad really stepped up to help me. Like, what a cool story. That's awesome. I love that. I love that we were able to talk about that, because you just sending a picture of like a reptile did not speak to this at all. So how awesome.
No, they were
Dom, great job.
they were all so cute. Like they were really working me, and I was like, and Amy had already told me like when she notified me of the place and told me to get the tickets. She was like, "I'm not going, so just get the tickets for you and the kids." And she's like, and she looked into it because she always does. She like looks more into what it is, and she's like, "It looks like it's more sales than it is like whatever." She's like, "But
Hmm.
don't you dare bring anything home, like no snakes,
Oh,
no spiders." She's like, "Maybe a lizard, like maybe."
that's all you
Um,
needed.
and the kids were just texting her the whole time, like, "Mom, please," like every picture that of something they were holding, and they were blowing her up. Yeah. And they came together, like we couldn't like bearded dragons are apparently like I don't know what the word is, but more of an aggressive like species as far as like other bearded dragons. So you can only have like one in a
Oh,
in a terrarium or whatever. So like I was like, "Hey, we can only get one. Like I'm not getting you guys three terrariums and like three lizards." Like because originally like it wasn't like crazy expensive. So I was like, "Oh, I'll get three of them." And he's like, "No, you can't put them in the same thing." And I'm like, "Oh, that sucks, dude." I'm like, "You just lost
you're
two
gonna get
sales."
3 of them?
Yeah, one for each kid, man.
Wow,
You guys,
incredible.
you don't even understand. The little kid inside of me was exploding. Like I was in my happy place. Like the whole like the thing in Sedona and the thing in Huntington Beach, like me saying like Bentley wanted to be there. I wanted to be there. Like I was trying to push my kids out of the way and hold all these little reptiles. Like, but I, had to be a dad and let them do it. I was like, "No, put the big anaconda around my neck. I don't care." Whereas my wife is like every second of the way, she's trying to like take a step back and take a photo. Like she's just terrified of all that stuff.
Is that environment good for like immersion and to get over a fear, you think, or was it just overwhelming?
Yeah, because they're all like there wasn't a lot out of their boxes. Like everything was like in an enclosure. There's very little walking around.
It
That's
seems like
awesome,
it would
man.
be a great environment. Well, no, not a great environment for somebody who's afraid of large crowds of people and dinosaurs at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Like, what's the what is the what's the stronger feeling? Not wanting to be around people or not wanting to be around reptiles?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it if your kids have any interest in that kinda in creepy crawly things. Again, there was no one walking around saying, "Here, hold this. Here, hold," like, you actually had to ask for it, otherwise you could just look, like as if you were at a zoo. But instead of a zoo, like, where they were where instead of a zoo where they're in an environment and you sometimes have to look for them because 'cause they're camouflaging or hiding or sleeping, like, these things were in, like, plastic tubs or, like, little like, you could see them, like, plain as day. It was cool.
That's really
I
cool.
enjoyed it very much. I'll
Well,
send a video somewhere if I figure out how to get back on Twitter and Instagram.
kudos to you, man. I love the fact that you took an idea that your kid loved, or an interest rather, and that you just ran with it. And it sounds like it kind of was kind of a in your heart as well. That was really cool. I was just listening to DJ Kaufman DJ Kaufman's scream, um, stream. What's wrong with me? Stream, and he was mentioning how his dad had noticed when he was younger that he was taking an interest in comics and art and stuff like that. So his dad just started a comic book store
What?
for him.
That's awesome.
so, so his dad was like, "Oh, start a comic book store for you," and so it was a really good story. You guys can go look at it. It was really funny. And then and he was also saying he was like, and then like I didn't work there, but like my mom brought all of her Avon stuff in there too. So then like all my friends knew about this comic book store that was like basically started because of me. And they were all like, "Hey man, what's with that Avon stuff or the Avon stuff in your comic book store?" So it was really funny. Good story from DJ that he shared. So
Awesome.
what's going on this weekend for you?
Jason,
This
you ready for
weekend
school, bud?
is, yeah, I'm ready for school. Do I look ready? I feel ready. I feel fantastic. Weekend was good. Today is a non-student work day. Tomorrow is also a non-student work day. Then we start getting the students trickling in. So this is I always appreciate this change with the teaching season. It's like a slow bake. It's not like students at, it's never like a hard start from the summer schedule. So yeah, I'm going in and just getting shit done that has to get done. Ordering supplies, rearranging my room, getting my lessons and units lined up for the year. All that jazz. Weekend was good. I got some good notes because it relates to today's reading. Because we did have some good parenting situations that all ended pretty positively. And then I'm typing in the chat. I don't feel like typing, but the 7 of you, I think, whoever's in the chat, however many are listening, or 12 if you're listening, I spent some time trying to navigate social media. I gotta tell you, like, nothing makes me feel older than trying to curate social media. I started a new My Daily Dads Facebook page. So the videos would stop going to my personal page and then they would start collecting here. And then I'm playing with all the settings with StreamYard here. We need 100 followers or 60 days of activity before we start doing that. So if you guys are listening and you have a Facey Spacey, please go ahead and look up My Daily Dads. It's got our logo on it. And I did upload some of our more in-depth videos, but we could definitely use the likes to get that off the ground. Will I be able to moderate it regularly? Who knows? I don't know. So,
No.
So yeah, do us a favor, folks. Head over to My Daily Dads on Facey Spacey, Facebook, and just follow. You don't even have to click on our name. Just give us a follow. But we would love seeing all of you guys on there for sure.
Do we have a link we can
I
drop in the chat?
feel old and uncomfortable, like asking to smash that like button. That's where I'm at right now. Hard pivot to today's reading because it went well, and I really enjoy this thought of the inner voice that screams at us or screams at your kids, and what does that voice sound like, and what does it say? The inner monologue that goes through your head whenever you're doing something, whenever you're screwing up, whenever you're questioning yourself, whenever you're doubting yourself, even when you're talking yourself up to do something. It's like, whose voice is that in your head? It's not my voice. And some thoughts that, like, I spent like a good hour thinking about this last night, is like, whose voice is in my head, or whose voice was in my head? I would say when I was younger, it was probably Dad's, right? Or we've talked about the great Mr. Stern in baseball, yelling, but somehow the yelling made us better, whether it's through fear or through encouragement. But like, what does the voice say in your head? And also my thought was, the voice in your head, when like you're really like self-judging yourself, tends to be negative, at least with me. It's like, hey, you're not working hard enough. You're not working long enough. You're not focused enough. You're not regimented enough to do the things that you want to do. Like, I would say those are like the most common negative self-talks thing that go inside my head. And I'm not really sure whose voice it is. So it's like, there's one thing I thought is like, you always see, or, before AI started getting popular, you would see all these apps that would like combine your parents' faces to kind of see what their kid would look like, or like two people's kid, So I'm wondering if that voice might be like a mix of like all the people that I know, that's good. It was a good thought experiment. And then also it's like, what does the voice inside of your kid's head sound like? It's probably mine. I'm not really, I rarely knock them down a peg unless they're doing something bad. But we had a few situations this weekend. One of them was this with this self-talk with my youngest, Hazel. She's 6. She had a friend over, and they played like for 3 hours. It was great. Came time to take her home, and I told Hazel to come with us in the car so I could drop her friend off, and Hazel was having none of it. Didn't want to leave the house, and just had this meltdown, probably just tired. The things that I was saying to her was like, you got to be a good friend and come take your and come take your friend home, or you have to be a nice kid. You can't, like, you're not being a nice kid right now because you're crying in front of your friend. Meanwhile, her friend is like, just kind of staring at this situation going on. And then immediately after that, Hazel was like, part of her meltdown was like, I'm not a good kid. I'm a bad dresser. And she was like saying this stuff is crying. I was like, who was the person that told you that you were a bad dresser and a bad kid and a bad friend? And it was like, she was immediately saying the things that she thought that I was saying, or at least that's what I took it as. Like, no, I'm not saying she's a bad kid. I'm just saying that like her behavior is not being a good friend. So just that was just a really good reminder of like how kids hear the words that come out of our mouth and how they take it. So that was a good, I mean, positive, no, but meaningful, yes, definitely a lesson for me. And then I'm giving, this is a little bit of kind of gratitude to another parent. My oldest also had a friend issue. He has a friend who's been trying to get in touch with her to hang out for like 2 weeks. And I don't know if I don't know if she was like, I don't know if Kira was like blowing her off or what, but like the parents were texting us and trying to link something up. And then finally the dad, who's a good friend, was like, hey, just give it to me straight. Does Kira not want to hang out with my daughter, or is something else going on? So I said, well, I mean, Kira is just, she my kids have not been motivated the past 2 weeks. Didn't want to really leave the house. Didn't want to do anything unless a plan was already in place and everything was solid. And like me and Kristen probably weren't the best with that contact either, just because we're kind of juggling things. But I really appreciated that this dad reached out and like kind of advocated a little bit for his daughter, who was kind of getting frustrated. So we talked a little bit about that, about like, what, how kids communicate, it's like, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have been like, well, if somebody's not responding, then maybe don't give them your time, or like put your energy towards the friends that want to hang out with you. Like that's what I would say to my daughter. But like, I think that was a good move by him to like acknowledge that and just kind of step in for a second, like not helicoptering, just advocating. So, yeah, it was just a good weekend of some parenting situations that I think went fairly well, or at least walked away with the lesson from it. Inner voices, boys. What goes on in your head?
Oh,
Still thinking about this dad and kind of what he was probably going through with his daughter, and kind of like, I feel like it takes a lot of energy to finally like reach out to someone and say, hey, what are your feelings about me? What are your feelings about my daughter? And I'm just thinking about like those type of like what finally kind of like brought them to that moment. What was it? Their daughter kind of like now second guessing herself? Was she being torn down a little bit? What was her voice as she was kind of this kind of stuff? Is this something new to dad? Like, I'm so curious. There's like so much meat within that, which is so. Thanks for sharing the story. because I could see myself not reaching out that way, and then also telling my kids like, "Hey, take a hint, let's go." Like, don't like because that's even with the boys, like for them, right? The girls or whatever it is in the future, kind of having them understand things. Um, did you let Kira know that her dad had reached out like that?
No, I didn't talk to her yet. And I'm like, because I feel like Kira would be the kind of person that would start to act against her initial instinct. Like I don't think Kira has any issue with this friend. I just think Kira is not in the hangout all the time stage in this past 2 weeks. Like she just last week, she was on her, she's on her period and all like the energy fluctuations that come with that. Like I totally get it because I saw Kristen go through it. But it's like, at some point there's no excuse for like not reaching out. But then I did hear that like they were talking and I don't know what they said. But like I did say to the dad, it's like I would meet 12-year-old me would definitely feel like his daughter would if like he wasn't or if I wasn't getting a solid response for a friend or a friend kept breaking plans and even into adulthood. Like we all have those people that you try to make plans and they always end up falling through for some reason last minute. That might be like not planning correctly. Things always do pop up, right? Like that's not an unrealistic issue, but it's like, at what point do you cut off a relationship or like step back from investing yourself into people that may or may not have more important things,
Yeah, that's it. That's so great. I mean, I think that's a great conversation around a gut feeling, right? Like the gut feeling does not mean that you have to be all or nothing. Like, okay, I felt this way, I got to cut you off, or I have to stop talking with you. The gut feeling, I think that we can kind of teach ourselves still is, reach out and ask that question. Like, reach out and say, hey, I'm feeling this way. Just help me understand what's going on. I think that's going to be great for our kids as well, to let them know. It's like, well, you feel that way. And I think we have to validate that. Like, you feel that way for some reason. So why don't we now kind of do something about it, right? Because the worst thing we can do is just let it like manifest into something else inside of our head. That can become so toxic. Yeah, I was curious if you had shared it with Kira, and she's like, yeah, you know what, it is kind of true. And then you know uh, teach from that kind of moment. But yeah, kudos to that dad for saying something.
Yeah.
Great story. Great story.
What's going on tonight, Jason? You can't make it? Should we reschedule or
I'll leave it up to
earlier?
you.
Do
I'll
not
leave it up,
reschedule.
I'll leave it up to you guys. We have like back to school night for my two younger daughters at their school at 5:30. I was thinking of like jumping in from the car, but it's like, do I really want to talk in a loud car, kids? Not really. So if you guys end up jumping on, I'll definitely listen in, but don't let me stop you. Do you have a topic for tonight or just jumping on?
I mean, I have something I've been on my chest wanting to talk about or let you guys know about. So I got a little something something for you.
Oh,
So
I might have to put my kids on the back burner then.
I might I might be ready to talk about it. Been an interesting situation developing. So yeah, if we're ready to go, what did we say? Did we say 4 p.m. Pacific?
No,
Put a calendar.
we said 5 p.m. Mountain Time.
7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what that is in reptile time.
All right, chat. We're at least me and Ryan will be on 4 p.m. Pacific and all those other times that those guys just said. So if you want to chat, if you want to come on, let me know. We can drop the link. More than happy to have a couple more people up. If not, come hang out with us tonight. for Dad's After Dark, even though 4 p.m. it is not after dark whatsoever for me.
That's technically Dad's After Dark doesn't start till November, or at least mid-October.
Yeah,
Dom,
Mama Bear,
do you
we-
want to? I was going to
Yeah,
say, do you
Mama
want
Bear,
to speak to it
we
really
have-
quickly?
we have a nice space.
Give us a teaser.
Dom is really great at
No.
teasing, by the way. Dom's like, I got something really big that really might end up affecting all of us. Like, and if you don't check in, you might miss it. Like, Dom is really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got to get that audience, right? Spread the word, people. It's gonna
Give
be
us a
big.
trailer.
It's gonna be big.
Yes, a tease.
That's it. Come on,
Beard.
something. Give me something done.
Wait, hold on. What was that question we asked you? We asked you last time because you're like, I got something, and we said, is it family, finances, or
Yeah, it's
Self.
like a family, like a
it
kid
health? Is that-
situation, family /
Okay.
kid situation.
cool?
Sorry,
All right.
keep clicking on stuff.
What if
I mean,
Dom
dude,
secretly
it's
just
just
bought
like
these lizards to eat?
10 hours away, 8 hours away. You guys can make it.
Is this just going to be a live stream of your lizard?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. I gotta go. I love you both.
Same here. Chat,
And
thank you for showing up.
And IU. Cool. Yeah. All right. Happy Monday, guys.
All right.
Hope to jump on later. Dom, I hope that this isn't some disease you're sharing with us. Or
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
I guess I'll take Blizzard. But
All right. See you, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, and we'll hang out later tonight.
yeah.
See you, buddy.